Applause. It's a boy. Congratulations, my love. What is going on here? That was all I could ask my husband, returning early from a business trip to find a baby shower for his child, with my best friend, happening in the middle of my living room. The new mother-to-be stammered nervously. We were going to tell you. We just didn't get the chance. I just smiled. And when they realized who was really crashing their party, the color drained from their faces. My name is Brooke Harrison, and I'm a vice president of marketing. My life is a blur of flights, boardrooms, and presentations that go late into the night. I've always been the one who solves the problems, the one who pays the mortgage, the one who keeps a roof over our heads, the one who hits every target. And still, I told myself it was all worth it because, at the end of the day, I had someone waiting for me. On my last trip, something unusual happened. I managed to wrap up my meetings early and came back to Chicago 2 days ahead of schedule. I wanted to surprise my husband, Ethan. In the end, I was the one who got the surprise. 24 hours earlier. Chloe, cancel my Monday meetings. I'm coming home early. I want to surprise Ethan. That's so sweet, boss. He's going to be thrilled. She always called me boss. She always believed I had everything under control. At the airport, waiting to board, I opened the security camera app for my house. Music was playing. People were walking in. Pink and blue balloons floated everywhere. A banner hung over my living room window. Welcome, our little miracle. My finger froze on the screen as I zoomed in. There she was. Sophia Miller, my best friend since childhood, pregnant. And there was Ethan Cole, my husband, his hand resting on her belly, smiling. I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I called Gabriel Ortiz, my lawyer. Gabriel, it's Brooke. I need you at my house tomorrow afternoon with everything ready. Divorce petition, a no-contact order, and a restraining order petition already filed. And I want to anchor digital evidence, audio files, screenshots, backups. You have the source. Ethan's cloud backup is on the family plan I pay for. Download it all with metadata and hash values and bring copies. I slept little. I planned a lot. The party. The Uber idled in front of my house. The facade looked like a piñata. Balloons, ribbons, little gift bags. I used my key to let myself in. A glass crashed to the floor. Someone moved a tray out of the way. Another person sidestepped to avoid my gaze. My mother brought a hand to her chest. My father stared at the ground. In the center of the room, Sophia was glowing on my sofa, and Ethan was kneeling beside her, touching her belly like it was a trophy. He saw me, and instead of shame, his face showed annoyance. You're not supposed to be here, Brooke. Well, I came to congratulate the new parents, I said with a smile. Sophia's lips tightened. The glass in her hand trembled. We were going to tell you. We just didn't get the chance. I had time, though. I glanced toward the door. Gabriel. Gabriel Ortiz walked in with a black briefcase. His voice was clear and sharp, like a scalpel. Mr. Cole, you are hereby served. He placed a folder on the gift table. Here's the divorce petition, the no-contact order, and the restraining order petition already filed with the court. He set another envelope next to the gifts. And here is the evidence. Dated audio files, screenshots with geolocations enabled, and exports from Ethan's own cloud backup, complete with metadata and hash verification. The silence in the room became heavy. Someone turned off the music. My mother took a step toward me, then stopped. My father stood frozen, as if trying to erase himself from the scene. A neighbor looked down. One of Ethan's friends cleared his throat and shifted toward the door, ready to flee. I took a deep breath, not to calm myself, but to anchor myself. Keep the party going. Don't worry, I said, looking directly at Ethan and Sophia. I'll be settling this account. Fictional testimony. Chloe Davis, assistant. When Brooke says, I'll be settling this account, she isn't kidding. It's her way of telling you she's already done the math and someone is about to pay. Sophia searched my eyes. She found only glass. Brooke, please, we didn't want to hurt you. Then you shouldn't have done it in my living room. Ethan stepped forward with that arrogant posture I had so often mistaken for confidence. Are you really going to make a scene here? I don't need to make anything. You already did. I pointed to the balloons and the banner. I just came to shut it down. Gabriel opened another file. Title report. All bank accounts, credit cards, and the mortgage on this property are in Mrs. Harrison's name. We are petitioning the court to preserve the current asset status until a resolution is reached. I heard my mother whisper, "Brooke." I didn't look at her. If I looked at her, a part of me that needed to stay intact for what was coming would have broken. I gripped the handle of my purse. Final warning. All contact with me will be through legal channels. From now on, I don't argue. I document. Fictional testimony. Aunt Maggie. When Brooke switches from talking to documenting, there's no turning back. That's her safe zone. Papers, dates, signatures. No one can touch her there. A guest pushed open the back door to escape with his plate, still in his hand. Another made a nervous joke that died in the air. Sophia began to cry silently. Ethan dropped his fake smile. I saw his anger, raw and unfiltered. The kind that always hides behind, "It's not what it looks like." "Where did you get all that?" he spat. "From your cloud," I replied. "And I pay for the plan. Metadata. Hash values. Do you want Gabriel to draw you a picture?" Gabriel didn't flinch. He just slid a paper with official stamps and the word "received" printed in bold across the table. I turned to leave, not because I wanted to run, but so everyone could see that I was the one deciding how this scene ended. "Enjoy the cake," I said. "You can take the family photo without me." I took a step. Ethan took one toward me. The annoyance in his eyes was gone, replaced by fury. The kind of fury that comes with public humiliation. The kind that bites. "Brooke," he said through gritted teeth. I didn't answer. I just stood my ground, watching him advance. I knew the next move wouldn't be with words. The room went cold after my final line. As I stepped toward the door, I felt a yank on my arm. Ethan's hand, sweaty and strong, dug its fingers into my skin, as if to brand me. "You're not going to ruin this, Brooke." A glass on the table trembled. Someone coughed nervously. Sophia shrank into the sofa, hugging her belly. "Let go of me," I said slowly, as if each letter weighed a ton. Gabriel stepped between us. "Remove your hand right now, or we'll file a report for assault in progress." Ethan let go but didn't back down. He glared at me with the rage of a man who, for the first time, has no control. Gabriel opened another folder. "Your Honor," he began. Though we were not in court, his voice projected for all to hear. "The evidence has already been submitted to the court. But for those who still have doubts," he held up his phone, connected to a small speaker. "Dated audio files, WhatsApp messages with geolocation, and records extracted from Ethan's own cloud backup with metadata and hash verification." He pulled out a sheet filled with codes and seals. "Here is the technical forensic report, signed by a cybersecurity specialist. The metadata doesn't lie. You can delete a WhatsApp audio, but the backup preserves the date, the location, and the exact duration. Brooke provided material that matches Ethan's account, with no possibility of alteration." A murmur spread through the room. Ethan's cousin ran a hand over his neck, looking uncomfortable. A neighbor who had always defended him looked away. My mother stepped forward. "That's enough, Brooke. Don't you see you're humiliating him in front of everyone? You couldn't just wait?" Her broken voice wasn't defending me. It was defending him. The words cut through me like a knife. "Wait for what, Mom? For them to tell me to my face with cake and balloons that my best friend is carrying his child?" She hesitated. My father remained silent. I knew then they weren't going to take my side. Gabriel played an audio file. Ethan's voice was crystal clear. "Sophia, if Brooke ever suspects anything, I'll just tell her you were helping me with a project. She never checks my accounts." I never checked because I trusted him, and that trust was my most expensive mistake. Fictional testimony. The bank statement, I saw the transfers in the monthly statements, but Brooke always said, "It must be one of Ethan's expenses." She didn't suspect a thing. Now all those sums had a name and a face. Ethan slammed his fist on the table. The dishes rattled. "All of that is out of context. You people don't know what happens in a marriage." Oh, we know, I replied, my voice calm. We know you used my money, my house, and my name to hide your lies. He lunged toward me, but Gabriel blocked him with his forearm. One more step, and the police will escort you out of here in handcuffs. Sophia was sobbing, trembling. Someone in the back muttered, "This is a scandal." Ethan pointed a finger at me, his eyes red, his jaw tight. "You're going to regret this, Brooke. You have no idea what I can do to you. I have something no one expects, a witness who can destroy you." Silence fell again. I stood perfectly still. I didn't answer because I understood that the real war had just begun. I walked out of that room without looking back, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was in control. The aftermath. Back at my hotel, I sat on the bed, still in my heels and makeup. I picked up my phone, but didn't open any messages or answer any calls. I just did what had to be done. First, I blocked all our joint accounts. Then, I canceled all the credit cards under my name. Finally, I suspended the automatic mortgage payments. Every click demolished a piece of his life, and every move reminded me of one thing. That house was never ours. It was always mine. The next morning, I went to the office. Chloe, my assistant, looked at me with concern. "Brooke, are you okay?" "No, but I will be." I asked her to organize a folder with all our financial documents. Then, in HR, I changed my emergency contact. Ethan's name came out. The only person who never turned her back on me went in. Aunt Maggie. That night, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Calls from my mother, my father, friends who feigned surprise at the baby shower. I didn't answer a single one. But I did open one message that made my blood run cold. It was from the private investigator I had secretly hired at the airport. "Brooke, I found something on Ethan you need to see in person." We met at a quiet coffee shop the next morning. He opened his laptop and turned the screen toward me. There was Ethan, not with Sophia, but with another woman. The records were clear. 3 transfers, always on Tuesdays at 7:32 p.m. Location? A bar on Navarro Street. The security footage showed him handing over envelopes. It wasn't romance, it was money changing hands. It didn't look like love, it looked like a dirty deal. "He's not just a cheater, Brooke," the investigator said. "He's involved in some shady business. That woman works for a loan shark under investigation for money laundering." I closed my eyes. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about the double life he maintained while I carried the weight of everything. I left the cafe determined. This wasn't going to end with just a divorce. Ethan was going to pay for everything. Back in my temporary apartment, I went through every document Chloe had prepared. Suspicious transfers, late-night withdrawals, recovered messages. It all pointed to the same thing. Ethan was using me as his personal bank and Sophia as his cover. That night, Sophia called me. Her voice was trembling. "Brooke, I know you hate me, but I need help. Ethan's disappeared. I feel sick. The baby won't stop moving. I don't know what to do." I smiled alone in the darkness. She wanted my help after stabbing me in the back. "Fine, I'll help you, but on one condition." "Anything, please?" I opened a drawer and pulled out a contract Gabriel had already prepared, anticipating every scenario. "You will sign a document waiving any and all claims against me, present or future. You will provide a written declaration detailing the timeline of what happened, and you will not be allowed to approach me again without a court order." Silence, then sobs. "You're being cruel." "No, you were cruel. Now you're just reaping what you sowed." The next day, Sophia showed up. Eyes swollen, hands shaking, the belly heavy. She hesitated, but she signed. And when the pen touched the paper, I breathed as if for the first time in months. But the calm didn't last. That night, another message from the investigator arrived. "Brooke, there's more. It's not about Sophia. It's Ethan, and it's worse than we imagined." We met in the morning. He showed me new photos. Ethan wasn't just in bars, he was in clandestine meetings with disgraced politicians and shady businessmen. There was even a record of his car entering a parking garage on Navarro Street, partial plate. FZX233. He's desperate, Brooke. He's in debt up to his eyeballs. He's using your name, your company, even forged documents to stay afloat. My throat went dry. He wasn't just an unfaithful husband. He was a criminal, and he was dragging me down with him. I returned to the apartment stunned. Before I could turn off my phone, another text came in. It was from Ethan. If you don't stop this charade, you will regret it. I don't mind destroying your reputation. I know exactly how to sink you at your own company. The blood in my veins turned to ice. The hearing Ethan's threat still echoed in my mind. For a second I felt fear, but I took a deep breath. Fear doesn't paralyze me. Fear moves me. The next morning I met with Gabriel. He placed a thick folder on the table. Brooke, we've already blocked his access to your accounts and cards. But if you want to cut the last cord, we need to sell the house. I nodded. Do it. I don't want him to have a single brick. I've already listed it. We should have offers in a few days. The property is in your name only. He can't stop it. And he was right. Within 72 hours, I had a firm offer. We signed the sales contract, with a closing scheduled in 30 days. Ethan's reaction was immediate. Desperate text. You're insane, Brooke. That's our life. No, Ethan, I typed back. It was my life. You were just living in it. Mutual friends started calling. Brooke, just forgive him. He made a mistake, but he still loves you. Think about the baby. I answered with silence. They weren't trying to console me. They were trying to control me. That night, Gabriel called. His voice was serious. Brooke, I need you to prepare yourself. Ethan has filed a motion for an emergency injunction. What did he ask for? He's claiming you're unstable, that you're harassing Sophia, and that you pose a risk to the baby. He's asking the judge to forbid you from going near them. I was speechless. Me? A risk? After everything he'd done? It's a dirty move, Gabriel said. He's trying to pressure you financially and through the media. My blood boiled. First my house, then my money, and now my reputation. No, I wasn't going to let him. The next day, I walked into Gabriel's office and placed my phone on his desk. It's all here. Texts, audio files, photos. I want to use every piece of evidence to prove that he has always lived at my expense. Gabriel looked at me seriously. Are you sure? This is going to be open war. It's already war, I said. Now we're just making it official. I left his office with a determined stride. My phone vibrated. An unknown number. You think you're winning, Brooke? Just wait for the hearing. My witness knows you better than anyone, and when she speaks, no one will ever believe you again. The witness, I spent the night awake, wondering who he had bought. A neighbor? A colleague? My own mother? The thought was painful. She had been avoiding my calls for days. On the day of the hearing, I walked in with Gabriel by my side. Ethan was already there, wrinkled suit, unshaven, wearing the smirk of someone who thinks he's about to turn the tables. Sophia sat in the back, her belly large and her eyes red, trying to look like a victim. The judge called for order. Ethan stood up, his voice rehearsed. Your Honor, I call my witness to the stand. She can attest that Ms. Brooke Harrison is unstable, violent, and incapable of maintaining healthy relationships. The door opened. My mother walked in. A chill ran down my spine. She walked to the stand without looking at me. My name is Teresa Harrison. I am the respondent's mother, and I can confirm that Brooke has always been unbalanced, explosive. I warned Ethan that she wouldn't be able to sustain a marriage. Every word was a knife. They weren't just distorted memories, they were lies. Ethan was smirking. The judge was taking notes. Gabriel whispered, Let her talk, then we'll dismantle her. When she finished, Ethan tilted his head toward me. I told you I'd destroy you. The judge looked at us. The defense may proceed. Gabriel stood. Your Honor, before we begin questioning, the defense requests to submit supplementary digital evidence that directly impacts this witness's credibility. Ethan's smirk faltered. Sophia looked up, uneasy. My mother clutched her purse. Gabriel placed a flash drive on the table. These are exports from Mr. Ethan Cole's banking application, recovered from the cloud backup to which Ms. Harrison has legitimate access, complete with metadata and hash verification. It also includes audio files recovered from the same backup. We request permission to play them." The judge nodded. Projected on the screen were 3 recent bank transfers. Same amounts, same recipient. Teresa Harrison. Then the audio played. My mother's voice, tired but clear. "Ethan, the money came through, but you promised this would be the last time. I don't like this." His voice, raw. "Relax, Teresa. Just repeat that Brooke is unstable. I'll handle the rest." The air was sucked out of the room. My mother covered her mouth. "That's an invasion of privacy," Ethan shouted. Gabriel replied calmly. "The backup is linked to the account paid for by Miss Harrison, with access logs and hash verification. The evidence is admissible. Furthermore, we have text messages confirming the arrangement." The judge scanned the documents and looked at my mother. "Did you receive transfers from Mr. Cole in recent weeks?" She said nothing. Her eyes found the floor. The judge made a serious note. "If confirmed, this could constitute witness tampering. I am ordering the immediate seizure of Mr. Cole's and Mrs. Harrison's cell phones at the end of this session, the preservation of their digital backups, and a notification to the district attorney's office. This witness's testimony is suspended pending a forensic analysis." The sound I heard was Ethan's smirk shattering. The bailiff approached Ethan's table to confiscate his phone. He pulled his hand back, red with fury. "Nobody touches my phone!" "Court order," the bailiff said firmly. My mother finally looked at me. Her eyes were filled with shame and fear. I said nothing. They had already heard everything they needed to. Then Ethan's phone vibrated on the table. A notification lit up the screen from the same contact in the audio. Everyone saw it. The judge raised an eyebrow. "Bring me that device. Now." The verdict, 15 days later, the courtroom was packed. The case had gone public. The man who for years had played the part of the model husband was about to hear his sentence. The judge listed the charges: fraud, obstruction of justice, attempted assault, and misuse of financial documents. Ethan couldn't stop fidgeting. The suit hung off his frame. His arrogance was gone. Sophia was in the front row, her eyes swollen. She didn't defend him. She didn't even look at him. She had been used too. My mother stood off to the side, her face pale, avoiding my eyes. I didn't hate her. I had just lost her. The judge spoke with a solemn voice. "This court finds Mr. Ethan Cole guilty. He is sentenced to 7 years in prison for fraud and obstruction of justice. Furthermore, he is ordered to return the misappropriated funds and is prohibited from approaching Miss Brooke Harrison for life." A wave of murmurs swept the room. Ethan screamed, out of control. "Brooke, this isn't over." The guards grabbed his arms. "Yes, it is," I replied calmly, "because I'm no longer your victim. I am your sentence." The cameras captured the moment. I didn't smile, I didn't cry. I just watched as they led him away in handcuffs. After the hearing, Sophie approached me. "I'm so sorry, Brooke. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your son. He deserves a clean start." She nodded, tears streaming down her face. Leaving the courthouse, reporters swarmed me. "How do you feel, seeing your husband convicted?" I stopped, took a breath, and answered, "I feel like I finally understand that blind trust is the most dangerous chain of all, and that sometimes justice is slow, but it always arrives." That night, back in my new apartment, I poured a glass of wine and looked out at the city lights. There was no more fear, no more rage, just a new kind of silence, the silence of a survivor. I opened my email. There was a message from the board of directors. "Brooke, the board has approved your promotion to chief executive officer." I smiled. I finally understood that Ethan had tried to destroy me with lies. But in doing so, he had unintentionally built my freedom. I turned off the light, and for the first time in a very long time, I slept in peace. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Velvet Vendetta.